Dr. John's Guitar Lab. Today we're going to be talking about a piece called Danza by Carlo Domeniconi. We're going to talk about the concept of planting in the right hand. It's very important to mastery of, any guitar piece, but particularly pieces that involve arpeggios. So let's get the basics out of the way. First of all, in the first 4 bars, you've got this passage here. Right? So we're in 3/8, by the way, all eighth notes. We have the repeated thumb. To practice your right hand part, emphasizing the right hand because the left hand is just doing this, right? Also requiring some practice, but let's get to the right hand. If I were to play the right hand part without the left hand, we're left with this pattern of P, M, P, P, M, P, P, M. Okay, tricky part being the double thumb stroke. So, to practice that, let's leave out the middle note M first and just play P. Doing that with planting, we're going to pretend like our thumb is magnetized towards that 5th string. So that's going to result in very short staccato notes. Okay, so practice that. That'll greatly improve the accuracy of the thumb. Next, let's bring the M finger back into it. A closer look at the right hand with what's going on with regard to planting. All right. If I'm just going to play P, M back and forth, as soon as my thumb plucks the string, the middle finger needs to be on the 2nd string, ready to go to play the next note. And back and forth, sort of like a seesaw effect, okay? So in my mind, I'm thinking cause and effect, right? As soon as my thumb leaves the 5th string, my M finger needs to be on the 2nd string. Vice versa is also true. When my M finger plays the 2nd string, the thumb comes back. Okay? So you'll notice that most of the time, my thumb and my middle finger are touching the strings. I'm not floating in space out here. But we really want to have constant contact with the strings here. And that's how we gain that accuracy that we strive for so much. Before we move on, I want to point out that we have a crescendo going across these first 4 measures. So we start out piano. Okay, and we're getting louder through those 4 bars. So. And then at measure 5, we have subito piano, where we go very quiet. Speaking of measure 5, we have now a different arpeggio pattern featuring P, I, and A fingers on the 5th, 3rd, and 1st strings respectively. So our left hand is in a static position for bar 5 through 8. So we're going to not really talk about the left hand because again, we're just holding down 2 notes. How to play this arpeggio though, and how to make it accurate with the best tone you can muster and all that. Again, with the planting, okay? So, it's an ascending arpeggio pattern where the pitches are going up. If you look closely at my right hand, when my thumb plays, my I finger and my A finger plant simultaneously on their respective strings. Measure 13, it's the same thing. PIA arpeggio. So just be sure that each finger is activating the next finger. As soon as my A finger plays the top string, the thumb comes back to the 6th string, and you're ready to go again, right there. Okay, this is how we develop accuracy in classical or fingerstyle guitar playing. Anything that involves the right hand plucking the strings. In fact, this concept can also be applied to pick technique, but that's a whole nother video in itself. Essentially, you think of it like this. A right hand mistake, a plucking mistake, a finger picking mistake is a result of the finger missing the string, hitting the string, not square, not with the right part of the nail, so you get like a nasty sound. Plucking a wrong string, right? And we remove the possibility, we're all human, right? We reduce the possibility of these mistakes happening by practicing in this certain way, where we don't pluck any note unless we know our finger is on that string securely before we play the note. So measure 13, fully planted, would look like this. Okay, and if you would be using a metronome, if you're wanting to build speed with something like that, then you gradually build up that speed so that when you remove the planting principle for performance, we've got accuracy, we've got legato. Let's move forward. Bar 17. Our arpeggio pattern changes. Now it's reverse. We do PMI, PMI. Okay, the PMI arpeggio is across 3 strings. We've got our bass on the 6th string, G on the 3rd string, and D on the 4th string. So, okay. If we watch the right hand here, we're planting sequentially. So the pattern is now going backwards from, well, we start with a low note, but then it goes high to low, okay? So the thumb prepares the M finger. As soon as the thumb plays, the M finger is on the string, maybe even before, since we're starting out, right? As soon as M plays, it triggers the I finger, which then plants on the 4th string. As soon as the I finger plays, the thumb plants, and the process starts again, okay? If you want to do this right hand alone, it would look like this. Measure 21. Again, a sort of reverse pattern. It's going to be PAI since the third note, the 3rd, 8th note's on the 4th string, or sorry, 5th string. Now it's, because there's that gap, we're not playing the 4th string with our M finger, where there's a gap, right? So we use P, A, I. Planting is the same as the previous line, starting in measure 17, okay? Sequential planting here, P, A, I. Okay, and this brings us to the ever so exciting measure 25, when we have this ascending arpeggio. Right? Okay, measure 25, we stop playing the same strings in repetition like we have been so far, and we have to string cross, okay? String crossing's, well, another technical challenge on the guitar. So let's look at that. It's going to be consecutive notes, P-I-M, on all adjacent strings. So now we go back to simultaneous planting in the right hand. So the thumb is going to cause I and M to plant together. Got a little button buzz there. Always something to look out for. Okay, so if you watch the right hand very close, you can see when the M finger plays, the thumb plants on the next string down. Right there. P, I, boom, right there on the 5th string. Set up to plant on the next strings. P, I, plant. P, I, plant. Okay, practice that. Right hand alone again. Get it. Here's a little trick, okay? Don't leave your fingers down once those notes are done, okay, at the end of the measure. So there's measure 25. For the next measure, notice I removed my 2nd finger from that G. Now I'm going to remove my 3rd finger from the C and add my 4th finger to the D. Okay, and then finally brings us to measure 29. Repeated notes. Look simple, might seem simple. Repeated notes on the guitar are actually one of the more challenging things to do if you're alternating fingers like this. We also have... Okay, so planting again, to practice your repeated notes so you can make sure you get really nice legato. We want to try to keep that 3/8 pulse. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Very subtle, not exaggerated, not that, but very subtle. Okay, so we got those repeated G's, just make them very legato. Keep the pulse. And that last set of G's in the last bar, measure 32, is that right? Yep, in measure 32, start traveling towards the 12th fret because we have a harmonic coming up. So 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Final chord, nice and airy, let it ring. And bring the strings to mute with this muting technique. And there you have it. Danza by Carlo Domeniconi. Well, thanks for tuning in to the Guitar Lab. This is your host, Dr. John. See you next time.